The number 20 Texas Tech Red Raiders upset the number 11 Oklahoma Sooners by a score of 85-84 in Norman, Oklahoma. For future reference, let's just call this the Chance McMillian game. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And if you want to join the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube and stay in the know on Texas Tech men's basketball through this March Madness run where it looks like the Red Raiders are going to go on one, you know what to do. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech men's basketball all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's jump into this because this will be known as the Chance McMillian game this season. You thought his Butler game was good? No. We've got another story coming to you. But Texas Tech won 85-84 up there at Load Noble Center. And listen, shout out to you, Red Raider Nation. I heard you loud and proud on there on the TV broadcast. Y'all were loud. It sounded like y'all had more Texas Tech fans there than Oklahoma fans. I'm not surprised, as even King McClure, a guy that went to Baylor, was talking about it on the broadcast that, hey, Texas Tech is known to travel well, and the Red Raiders fan base showed out in Norman. Now, who showed out on the hardwood for Texas Tech? You got to start with Chance McMillian. A career-high 27.6 of 8 from three. Oh, yeah, he also had 8 rebounds to help propel the Red Raiders to their second top 25 road win in the Big 12 and stay atop the Big 12 standings all alone, a half game ahead of Iowa State as it stands right now. Pop Isaacs was sensational, specifically in the second half with how aggressive he was and how calm he was at the free throw line, going 9 of 10, 90%. Joe Toussaint was also sensational in the second half. You could see this wave of momentum for Texas Tech once they got a couple of buckets down 7 in the second half. It looked like this game could slip away from the Red Raiders after Kerwin Walton fouled out with 8 minutes left in this one. Yes, you heard that right. He fouled out with 8 minutes left. But Texas Tech played one solid lineup the rest of the game. It was Warren Washington at the 5, Darion Williams at the 4. You had Joe, Pop, and Chance, the other guards, and they just spaced the hell out of Oklahoma and ran as fast as they could in transition to get some easy buckets. Pop had 2 layups in transition. Joe had a couple of hard finishes as well, and Warren Washington was absolutely sensational late in this game as a passer and really defusing the situation defensively when it came to Oklahoma getting into the paint. But overall, you look at this, Texas Tech yet again for the second straight game had a 50-plus point second half. They scored 52 points against the Sooners on the road. They went 18 of 25 from the field. That is 72%. They shot 50% from 3, 5 of 10. And probably the most critical aspect of this for Texas Tech, they went 11 for 13 from the free throw line for 85%. This Grant McCasland team just doesn't quit. People, you think they're counted out? You're wrong. Now, listen, I'm not saying they're going to win every road game in the Big 12. I'm not saying they're going to win every game in the Big 12. But I promise you this, they're not going to quit. And you want to know how I know that? Look at the development of the leadership trait of Pop Isaacs. Listen, we know he was a freshman last year. Last year, just flush it down the toilet and forget about it, right? In terms of what happened on the floor for Texas Tech. But the biggest positive this year in terms of a player returning for Texas Tech was Pop Isaacs and the way that he has developed into a leader. You don't have to trust me. Go back and watch the game in those late huddles there with about 4 minutes left, 2 minutes left, where Pop was the vocal leader of those huddles. And Grant McCasland has said as much. That is the trait that Pop has developed over this year that he's seen Pop grow the most with. We know what kind of hooper Pop is. He's just that. He's a hooper. Is he streaky? Yeah. Does he kind of piss you off with some of his decisions? Yeah, and I understand that. But I'll tell you this. This team will go as far as Pop Isaacs takes them. He's got to be the star. And when he isn't the star, nights like tonight are a prime example of how he has grown as a D1 basketball player in the toughest conference in America. He helped Chance quite a bit in terms of spacing. Now, give Chance a ton of credit. He absolutely hooped tonight and got Texas Tech out of a lot of bad situations, whether that was going to the free throw line, getting ready to shoot off the bounce, off the catch and shoot, whatever it is. He was lights out, and he's a bona fide star off the bench for Texas Tech. But again, I truly believe the guard play on this team, and Chance is included, but Pop, Joe, and Chance will take this team as far as they can possibly go when they play at their peak level. And right now, man, they have just done a sensational, and I mean sensational job so far. 5-1 in the Big 12. Whew, who would have thought that? Again, if you're excited about Texas Tech men's basketball, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell to stay in the know right here on the most engaging Texas Tech community and the most subscribed to Texas Tech community. This is the largest Texas Tech community on YouTube that isn't owned by the university or the athletic department. Come join it. I'm giving you daily videos here on Texas Tech men's basketball, the latest news for Texas Tech football. Join the most engaging group of Texas Tech Red Raider fans on YouTube right now by hitting that subscribe button. And while you're at it, you might as well hit that like button as well. All right, got to talk about the overarching theme of this game for Texas Tech from the standpoint of, again, you go scoreless for a long stretch of the first half. This has been kind of the norm for the Red Raiders. Let's just call it a bad norm because it's the truth. They went 7 minutes without recording a field goal in this game. Again, they were 0 for 12 at one point. They were 3 of 11 on layups at one point. But again, you have Grant McCasland as your head coach. And I don't want to get ahead of myself on anything, but you look at the adjustments night in and night out that him and his staff make, specifically going into the second half. That is the reason Texas Tech will be in virtually every game they play this year. There's going to be anomalies. Perfect example is the Houston game. Houston just, let's just call it what it is, beat the hell out of the Red Raiders, right? But for the most part, you are going to compete at a high level, and it starts with those guards, and it starts with their willingness and their coachability, right? You look at what Grant McCasland was doing. He should have probably had 2 techs tonight. No joke. I thought the refs were actually good at that point. I thought the refs were pretty shitty, to be honest, when it came down to when either team got into the lane. There was a lot of weak foul calls. Oklahoma did a better job of getting into the lane consistently in this game, so they got more of those bad foul calls, which caused an uproar on Texas Tech Twitter, which I'm sure nobody's surprised about. But when it comes down to what Texas Tech did well in the second half, again, 52 points. They shot 18 for 25 from the field. You think about what they did in terms of layups. I mentioned in the first half, they were 3 for 11 on layup attempts. Okay? Not great. Let's just call it what it is. Well, they finished 11 for 21. That means they were 8 for 10 on layups in the second half. They did a great job of being sure to get into the lane, create havoc, and then if they needed to drive and kick, they could, but they were trying to finish through contact and get to the lane. Again, 13 free throws in the second half. Sure, quite a few of them came late in the game in the one-on-one situation, and it's nice to have veteran guards like Pop Isaacs, Joe Toussaint, and Chance McMillian go to the line and knock down those free throws and really make sure this game was out of reach, because that last second 3 didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things unless you had a little bit of quiche on the game. But, of course, bet responsibly in that regard. I just can't get over how each and every night Texas Tech just does a great job at creating adjustments and mismatches in the second half to where it seems like there's just an onslaught offensively, whether that's in the half court or whether that is in transition. And Texas Tech did a great job of it. And I want to give this guy credit because it's not going to show up in terms of the assist numbers at a high level, but them going to Warren Washington and him really having 2 key assists and really plays there in the second half. One was a slashing play by Pop Isaac to get him an easy bucket on a layup, and then also another pass that got Joe Toussaint an easy bucket. It's good to see Texas Tech is versatile in their offensive scheme and self-aware enough where it's like, okay, if they're doing this against us, we're going to go here and we're just going to create havoc. They're not stuck on a box, and that is by far the most refreshing thing about this Texas Tech team as they win 85-84 and get another quad 1 road win in their resume in the net rankings. Texas Tech, they'll be moving on up in the AP poll, as well as KenPom and the net rankings after their 85-84 win in Norman over number 11 Oklahoma. Next up for the Red Raiders, a visit to let's just call it a home away from home in Fort Worth, a matchup with the TCU Horned Frogs scheduled for 6 p.m. on ESPN2 on Tuesday, January 30th. Of course, we'll have that game preview out to you guys here on the channel tomorrow. Let's just call it maybe Monday. We'll go with Monday, actually. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video if you're excited about Texas Tech men's basketball and the job that this team has done, as well as the coaching staff led by Grant McCasland. It's going to be a fun fun ride, Red Raider Nation. This is one of those fun seasons that we're going to talk about for a long time, it feels like. And if you want to be a part of the most engaging Texas Tech community here on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay in the know on Texas Tech men's basketball all year long, right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel.